It's a very long journey, but I'll focus on the most important things. So I think the first most defining moment for this year was when HR worked to ideate and then co-execute the offsite strategy session that we had, where we defined our MTP. Thanks, Antoinette, for the word. MTP, massive transformational purpose. We wanted something that was beyond, oh yeah, we want to do PPT and all that, but what would make people really, really connected to working at the organization? And so at that offsite, we came up with an MTP to deliver value for organizations through innovative and beneficial solutions. And then from that, we came up with our 4 key objectives. So again, this was us looking to introduce the OKR system of performance management. And so our key objectives were in 4 areas: financials, we had objectives on processes, we had customer objectives, but the people objective was really to create mutual value and create mutual value and an organization that staff can be proud of. And that for us has been like the North Star since we started the year, and it has led every single thing that's happened then and now. I'll give an example. 2 major areas in which this year has transformed is one in the area of enabling performance, and then 2 in the area of enhancing employee experience. From an enabling performance perspective, a lot of the HR initiatives I've deployed this year have been focused on how to make sure that we're getting the best value. Remember, that creates mutual value, that is there, because we understand that employees win the organization when the organization wins. The organization wins when employees also win. So creating that standard for mutual value was very, very important. And so mutual value for us began from setting up the performance management system, working to introduce the use of OKRs, helping in collaboration with the department heads and the Office of Business Transformation to execute all the iterations quarterly for the OKR systems. It's also even going into business and supporting businesses. So for example, our body shop business has brought in about 300 million in revenue this year. Working with the sales team to say, what's your contracting system like? What's your resourcing system like? How can we make sure that if your clients ask you for talent within X number of period, we're able to deliver? How do we manage the performance management of the staff, that are deployed there, so that you're not having complaints, you're not having issues? How do we make sure that we also drive staff retention for the resources that are working with you? I think one of our biggest joys from even creating that ecosystem for enabling performance so far has been the fact that this year we've grown our CSAT, employee satisfaction scores, by 26%. When you compare our Q3 financials to Q1 financials, we've grown profits per employee by 145%. When you compare Q3 performance in terms of profitability and profits per employee, which is something that we track, to what we did same period last year, 2022, we've grown that by 26.1%. So just it's showing that the steps that we're taking to enable performance is actually, leading out and bringing the kind of results. Are we where we want to be? Absolutely, the answer is no. But every time there is an opportunity to make an intervention and course correct, the direction, provide direction to people, whether it's clarity around their roles, whether it's the systems by which they are being appraised, all the stuff that has led to, for example, the Appraise Me app and some of the other initiatives this year. This is where it's all come from, creating that enabling environment for performance. The second leg, like I mentioned, was creating an enhancing employee experience. Goal 1 for us for that was automation first. So again, at the beginning of the year, we had a pulse survey with staff, and they shared, pain points, right? And it was very, very important to us to walk through those issues and make sure that they are addressed. One of the primary concerns people had was, I don't really have a lot of information to make decisions, or, I'm doing some stuff manually and all that. And that's led all the other stuff that we've done. So the launching of the intranet, the One AP homepage, came from this as well. We championed that, worked with internal stakeholders to be able to deliver the intranet. I mentioned the performance management system earlier, so looking at the old system that we had and how it wasn't very user friendly, But putting this together with support from the data team and other stakeholders, we now have the Appraise Me app, very easy to use, very seamless, and focusing on the key productivity drivers and performance drivers for the business. Even within this space, you have other automations like the visitors app now to help people just be able to easily book visitors, that are coming, visiting. We have the office services portal where you can make requests for, I need this, or my chair is bad, or my this. So just easing, all the employee touch points for staff has been a very major part of our contributions. Within this space is also the engagement initiatives that have happened. So, of course, this year, as with many other Nigerian businesses, it's been a very tight economic year. So spending, you have to be very mindful of what you're spending. And we've been able to drive engagements on a seemingly almost non-existent budget. So things like the departments in the spotlight, that was introduced, where everybody just hangs around and congregates around a particular department, understands them, what makes them tick, how they add value, and how does my interaction fit in with what. And then the games, people take those games seriously. The energy there when those events are happening. Other things like Women's Day, so we really leveled up Women's Day this year. Did like a proper all-out session. Spent the whole week, celebrating our women. Employee Appreciation Day, where we launched our new swag. Thank you, MCC, for supporting us in delivering that. And just every Africa Day, the drama, phenomenal, and all the other. It looks little, but it's helped us to enhance our camaraderie, our community, and everything that now shows the numbers that you're seeing today. Today, our Glassdoor rating for Net Promoter Score is 57% increase on what it used to be before. For the managed services support staff, we had over 200% increase in the NPS. Literally went from like a really low NPS to like a very high NPS within this period. So we're looking at numbers and tracking to see whether the initiatives that we're putting in place to support that mutual value, is generating the results. And so far, when you look at the numbers, it shows that there's impact from HR. So execution for us is a lot of things, but I think that the biggest value for execution for us here is first proper planning. So at the beginning of the year, we have our engagements calendar, we have our HR calendar, it's tied to our HR budget, it's tied to the HR strategy for the period. So some of these initiatives I'm talking about are not random. A lot of them are planned. But that does not also mean that we're not reacting, to business realities. So where things now come up, we're also, adopting that agile system where we can quickly say, okay, what needs to be done. One great example is when we realized that application development right now, there's not a lot of commercial need for application development, and we took a progressive decision to see how we can leverage these same resources to deliver for another leg of the business. So we kept retention, we made sure that we did not lose any staff, but at the same time the business also got value, right? So those sorts of things, some is agile and unplanned, others of course proper planning from the beginning of the year. So one leg for us for execution is planning. The second one is collaboration. I think my department is one of the departments where literally every single thing that we have done this year has been built on collaboration, whether it's with the data team for automation, whether it's MCC for the swag that we talked about, whether it's finance for payments, legal for contracting. We're very heavy on collaboration, and so our approach is very open door so that we can get the needed support that we need at all times. I think that one very important factor that also helps our execution is also the dynamics of the team. I have a very, very dynamic team, and so everyone is focused on results. There is a we need to get this done type attitude within the team, and it helps make sure that we actually get things done. Last leg, this is not necessarily tied to execution, but it helps us because we are very impact driven. We are always looking at what is the outcome, what's the numbers, did it move engagements, did it increase retention, it forces the mind to begin with the end in mind. So we are actually forced to plan to make sure we get the outcome that we want. And so because people know that if you don't check that outcome at the end of the day, then you have not done anything, makes our team work very differently. One major thing, and we'll fall back a bit to the answer on execution. So I'm the team perfectionist within the team. I'm the it must be done a certain way, a certain standard. Davis is the let us get it done. Fadekere is the soft side. People, that combination of our three strengths ensures that execution is always excellent, because we are focused on it must be done. We are focused on it must be done well. We are focused on it must make that impact for people, right? So sometimes we even start something and we get feelers that this thing is not really. We go back and we say, what have we not done well? How can we make sure that the next activation is better? Or sometimes even pause in the middle, recalibrate and relaunch, whatever initiative that we're looking at. I think a huge part of our drive for excellence is a function of the members of the team and the kind of values that they have and their own strengths. So when we bring the full complement of the team together with their strengths, it makes us execute excellently.